Hey there, welcome back to Game Breaks, where we break down your favorite games and how they're made. I'm Mr.Marksman, and today we'll be breaking down Fortnite, Chapter 3 Season 2 in particular. If you'd like to see a part 2, make sure to subscribe and hit the like button. Alright, let's take a look at some of the new things added to the environments this season. Alright, so the way that the battle bus was made is they get their model, right, and they put it across a track. And that track continuously goes on until it eventually hits a hitbox and deletes itself. It's also paired with a seamless animation, that little rocking gesture you keep seeing. Not gonna lie, AIs in video games are extremely tough. So there are a lot of different ways to do AI. In this case, they're using a specific kind of technique. In this technique, all the enemies are usually confined to a single spot or area, whether that be large or small. Then, they use sight behaviors using raycast, which, don't worry, I'll be talking a lot about that later. Finally, there are behavior trees, which use a bunch of if-then statements that I'm currently not going to go into. Can make an entire video just about that. Alright, so with the new season, there's a new battle pass, so let's go ahead and break down some of the new characters. Alright, so the way that they made the anime skin is they applied something called a shader. It's custom made, and what it does is it's a uniform thing that goes around the entire model. Once you have it applied to every part that you want, like example, that outline is part of the shader, but the custom part comes into the shadow effect, the colors, the gradient you see somewhere on the arm. This is nowhere near simple, and the true beauty of it comes into the color theory and all the fun and gritty stuff. Alright, so there's something called a Bezier curve. I probably botched the pronunciation. And it's basically how it sounds. It's a curve. It lets you make weird, fluid curves. And the way this was done is you take a Bezier curve, make it a solid, like 3-dimensional. You add a shader to it, or a texture, anime texture. And then the way this was done with all those fire stuff is a particle system. Alright, let's go over some of the new particle effects added this season. Alright, so I'm pretty sure the way that this was done is using something called a raycast. What a raycast is basically just a line. It's a line projected from any place. In this case, it's your crosshair. So what happens is, you get your crosshair points using your mouse. From there, it projects a raycast straight forward onto the tank or car. After the raycast hits the mesh, or the tank, what happens is it spawns a particle system, those blue lights that appear. So you put all those things together, it gets what you're seeing here. Alright, so the way I think this is being done is kind of the same principle and idea as the repair tool. When you shoot a gun, it creates a raycast, then it affects an invisible bubble that follows you throughout the entire round. And then finally, once the bullet enters your invisible bubble, that sounded really weird, just like the repair tool, it spawns a particle system, which is that tiny blue flash you see at the end. That's it for the day. I'm going to go into the new mechanics. Ooh, the tank. Yeah, there's a lot there. I'm gonna go over some of the simpler stuff. Alright, so the way you move around the tank is imagine these invisible squares. When you hit a key, by default I'm pretty sure it's control, it moves you, or the 3D model to the coordinates of those invisible squares. Oh, and which box it teleports you to isn't randomized. That's off of something called an array. It's basically just a list of saying, hey, after here, go to here, after here, go to here, after here, go to here. Alright, so let me get to the cool part of the tank. The giant barrel. The way that works is, you guessed it, another raycast. There are a couple added pieces to this though. One, of course, is a bigger explosion at the end. And secondly, another particle system for the bullet trail. Yeah, I think I'm done with the tank for now. Alright, so this one's a bit trickier. So there's a couple different ways you could do this, but there's one more professional way. So there's something called tweens, which is a funny word for something that goes a long way. So tweens are linear and exponential equations, those horrible things you learn in math. Their sole purpose is to create smooth and clean transitions, often actually used in cutscenes. Hey, you know what? Overall, some great additions. I actually might play this season. I haven't played in a year, so it might take some getting used to, but you never know. There's a lot I wasn't able to get to, so if you're interested in a part 2, be sure to hit the like button. Thanks again for watching, and if you'd like to see more from us, I mean, you've been on YouTube long enough, you know the drill.